recommendation table on the servers that you can get to install the systems. And let's quickly moving on to the installations. So for the installations, let's take a look on the IP Audio Center first. So as we know that our IP Audio Center, it is a system that you can deploy it. So there are 3 different ways that you can deploy the systems. First one would be a cloud-based server, or the second way would be a on-premise server, like hardware server. And also you can also deploy the system on a virtual machine if you would like to take a look or would like testing or learning the IP Audio Center. It is a good ways that you deploy the system on a virtual machine on your computers and like taking a look on how the system works and what functionality it can achieve. So there are 2 different methods that you can install the systems. The first method would be using the ISO file that we provide for you. So in which case that you will be using the ISO file is if you are deploying the systems on a hardware server or a virtual machine that you would like to use a ISO file. So using the ISO file to deploy the system is pretty is relatively straightforward. So first thing first, you need to download the ISO file from our website, and then you need to create a bootable USB drive, putting the ISO file into the drive and plug in your drive into the server, or if you are running on a virtual machine that is going to be a USB port on your computer. And then after you plug in the USB, it will be automatically start the installation. After you're done with the installation, it should be showing you the image on the right side. It's saying Seco, and it has a IP address like 192 point etc. So that IP address is going to be the IP address for you to access the IP Audio Center, the systems. And one thing we need to be actually 2 things we need to be aware of if you are installing the systems on a virtual machine. First, if you are installing on a virtual machine, your network connection has to be setting on a bridge option. And the second thing, if you are using a VMware, which is a Windows virtual machine application, if you are using the VMware or another virtual machine, it might be asking you, do you need to create a system? So since the ISO file that we provide for you already packed the system inside the ISO file, so you do not need to create a additional systems. So you may choose the option is saying create the system later on. So that are 2 things that you need to be aware of if you are deploying the system on a virtual machine. Otherwise, if you are deploying on a hardware server, it should be pretty simple and straightforward. And the next method would be using Docker. So if you are deploying the systems on a cloud-based server, you would like to use this method. So first thing first, you need to install Docker into your cloud server, and then pulling out the Docker repository from our provided link that we provide on the installation guide, and simply downloading the project and put it into your cloud server. So for if you are using the online installations based on Docker, that is also pretty straightforward. And the next thing. So also on the online, if you are using the method 2, it only works with cloud-based server who already has the Linux system installed and also Docker installed in your systems. And the next application would be our IP audio dispatch console. So since it is a desktop software application that you can actually download directly from our website. So I have attached the link on this presentation that you can access to download this IP audio dispatch console. Just like simply click the download button, download and install it. So that is for the dispatch console. For our dispatch apps, so we already put the apps in both Apple Store and the Google Play Store. So you can simply search IP audio dispatch apps in your Apple Store or your Google Play Store, and you should be able to find these apps. So just click and download the apps from your mobile phones. All right, and for the next section, let's move on to the configuration here. So let's take a look on the basic setup. So for basic setup would be first thing first, you need to log into the IP audio center, right? After you get logged into the IP audio center, you'll need to get the device IP address and make the and create the SIP accounts, make the device registrations, and creating the paging groups and dispatch user account, and also log in to the dispatch console. So I will be switching this screen and showing you a step-by-step how to do this basic setup. So let me share my browser here. Where contains. Sure. All right. All right, let me log out here. Okay, cool. All right. So after you install the IP audio centers, get into using a web browser like Google Chrome. And you should be get into this page saying the login interface. So both of the default username and password is amend. After you log in, you should be able to see the front interface page. And since our systems come with a 45-day trial period, so you do not need to activate the systems right away. It will set the trial period and at whatever date. So, but if you already passed the trial period and you would like to activate the whole systems, you need to go here under settings. There is a license section. So if you haven't activated the systems, it should be a form here, and you need to inputting information like contact person information and phone numbers, etc. After you fill in all the information, just simply click on the download button. It would automatically download a license file. Please send us this license file and we shall return you a license key file. And you need to use this license key that is returned from us to upload to the system and activate the systems. So that is the brief setup for the using the license to activate the systems. Since I already activated my system here, so I should be able to see the status as activated, and it will show how many endpoints license I have. So I have 30 here, so it would be 30 licenses on this system. And the next thing we need to do is to create SIP accounts. So I already got some SIP accounts in my system. So let's create another one here. So for this number, it starts with 1001. I am on my 21st, and it will be automatically create you the next one. So let's do password 1234556. If you are using this SIP account to register with any device that is related to video, such as our video intercoms or any like video SIP phones, you need to enable this option, the enable video options here, and just click on submit. Make sure that you click on the apply button before you move on to the next step. And the next thing we need to do is to get the IP address out of the device. So let me switching my cameras here. As you can see that I have a IVO3, this safety video intercoms here, and the intercom is unregistered because the light is off. We don't see the light here. So getting the IP address out of the IVO3, we need to press the button, hold for 5 seconds, and it will read out the IP address. All right, I guess the device is default in Chinese, but it works. So it says the IP address ends with 207. I actually have the device right here. So as you guys can see the 207 page. That is the system page for our IVO3, and device model is IVO3, and we have the software versions and hardware version here. And as under the SIP status, we have all 3 SIP accounts that's saying unfigured. So for all of our devices, besides the X30, all devices, they support multi-SIP accounts. So we support 3 SIP accounts, which means that you can register the device on 2 different systems, up to 3 systems. So you may register the IVO3 on our paging systems, or also using on the PBX, and also on another like the third-party systems. So first thing first, we need to do is go into the primary SIP accounts, and we need to fill out and make the registration done. So right here, it says SIP server, that is the IP address for your systems. So I got my IP address here. And the user ID would be the SIP account user ID you just created from the IP audio center. So I couldn't remember which number, 1021. So 1021 is the the SIP account I just created. So I will put in 1021 here, and passbook 1234556. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so make sure if you are using this device with our IP audio center, you need to enable this option. It says enable integration with IP audio center. So make sure that you enable this option, and also activate. Click on submit, and we can go to the device information here. Okay, all right, okay, all right. So right now on the primary SIP account, the status is saying registered under this IP address with this user account. And from my little cameras that you can see the IVO3, this little blue light is actually on. which also means the registration is fully done. And let's return back to our IP audio center. So when we return back to the audio center, if we click on devices, you can see that we have the 1021 and the device type is saying as a intercom device. Let's change the name on the device. I will see. Click on submit and apply. Okay. And after we make the registration, the device registration done, the next thing we need to do is creating the groups. So on the groups, right under the devices, simply click on the add button and giving the name to the groups. So let's do Emily's groups. And if you haven't created any dispatch user yet, you don't need to select the dispatch user here. You can absolutely choose choosing the patient zones while you are creating the dispatch user. So we will leave the dispatch user blank here for now. And also I need to find my IVO3 training and dispatch it to the new groups. So since my laptop is a small screen, so this like this section, it goes behind the devices right here. They're not selected and selected. So if you have a bigger screen, so this selected panel should be go right next to the not selected. So, but yeah, that's fine. Okay, so let's click on submit. So right now we have a new group that is called Emily's groups. And the next thing we need to do is to create the dispatch user. So click on the setting. There is a dispatch user option. So click on the add button and create the new dispatch user, giving the username and the password. So we have the username under Emily and we have the password 123456. All right, everything looks good. So we actually, you can ask the amend for creating the dispatch user. You can actually giving different permissions to this dispatch user. Let's say if you don't want the dispatch user to use the intercom or the background music feature, you just simply uncheck the box right here. So that way this dispatch user won't be able to change or like play any background music or use the intercom feature. I would do all the permissions if allowed it. And also we have the access level. So the access level is from the highest 1 to the lowest 12. Dispatch user who has the higher access level is able to override or terminate the operation that is done by the dispatch user who has a lower access level. So you don't need to give it to this dispatch user the access level on 1. You can actually give it to 5 or give it to like probably lower to 8 or 9 for the access level. And right here, we can select the group that is this dispatch user able to handle. So we just created the Emily's group. I can actually like choosing multiple groups here, but let's do the Emily group only right here. And also for IP phone number. So this IP phone means the master phone that this dispatch user can use. One master phone is only able to use by one dispatch user, but one dispatch user is able to have more than one master phone. So let's don't choose any of the IP phone master phone here. So let's click on submit. Applied. All right. So we done the device registrations. We done creating the paging groups and also the dispatch user. So one thing I need to mention here is for our systems, we support unlimited numbers of paging groups and also unlimited number of dispatch user. So you may create as many as you need. So you can create one dispatch user for your paging zone A and another dispatch user B for your paging zone B. That is totally fine. So next thing I need to do is to log into my my dispatch console. So before I move on to the login dispatch console, let me show you where you can find all the information here. So simply go to our secos.com, our website here. On the right navigation bar, there is a download option, download bottom, I mean, and right under IP Audio Center. So on the IP Audio Center here, you should be able to find out the installation guide. So click on the installation guide. It will guide you through how to deploy our systems on a on-premise server, or if you need to deploy it on a cloud-based server, it also gives you the instruction on how to deploy the systems on Docker, based on Docker. So that is the system installations. And also, if you go into IP Audio Dispatch Console right here, you should be able to find all the firmwares. We support macOS and Windows 64-bit and also Windows 32-bit. So choose the operation system that works for you and click on the download button here and just download and install the software applications. After you download the dispatch console, you should be able to find this. Let me share you another screen here. So you should be able to see this login panels to the dispatch console. So for the first section would be the system address, and you need the dispatch user's login credentials, the username and password. And we log in here. Oh, all right. So, okay. After we log in, we can see that on the top navigation bar, it's showing the different type of devices. We have speaker, we have intercom. So since we don't have any speaker that is registered on these paging groups, so it won't show any of the speaker here. But we have one intercom here, the IVO3 training. So that is the intercom we just created. We just registered onto the systems. And we have phone, we have cameras, and we have microphone, etc. On the left navigation bar, we have the music section. So for the music section, it is actually the music library that you can upload all your music files through the music collection here and creating the music playlist, or by clicking the create button and create a new music playlist. And also we have the emergencies and the alarm sounds. Meeting. So meeting would be if you select a number or like more than one devices from the panels here and click on the meeting button, it will invite these devices to the meeting and invite them to this meeting room here. And for tasks, so tasks, we support 3 different tasks. We have the immediate, we have our timetable and also the dial numbers, and I will be getting into more details later on about the tasks. And alarms. Alarms would be simply the history record, the records on when you have a alarm happened and time, event, status, etc. And you can checking all the reports and the ignores here. So that is a brief go over on the dispatch console. And also, as you may realize, that we have the video intercoms panel, and you can actually expand the video in panels here. So it supports at most 16 video cameras image here. So if you have connect with any of the IP cameras here, it can be showing in these panels, this video panel here. All right. So let's go back to the presentation slide. Okay. So that is basically, all right, go back here, all right. So that is basically the basic setup about like from installation to a device registrations and also some basic configuration here. So we done the first step, we log into the IP audio centers and we get the device IP address. We created the SIP accounts. We finished the device registration, which is on the device system page. We put into the SIP account to make the registration done. And also we created the paging groups. We created the dispatch user account. And also we use the dispatch users account that we created to log into the dispatch console. So that is basically the like very, very basic setup from the very beginning, from the grounds. And on the next setup, I will be showing you the more advanced setup, such as how to use a IP cameras and how to use our external audio corrections, how to use the I/O settings, multicast, etc. So for the first four, the IP cameras, the audio corrections, I/O setting, and the multicast, I actually record the video. So we will be finishing the watching the video, and after we watch the video, I will be also using the web browser and showing you like a more detailed setup if you would like to watch it. And also using for the P2P, I didn't record the video there, so I will be showing you in real time how to set up using the P2P. So let's quickly move on to the cameras. So for our systems, we support the third party's IP cameras as long as the IP camera is RTSP supported. So RTSP is a standard video stream protocol that used commonly in like 99% of the IP cameras. So as long as your IP cameras is RTSP supported, we are excuse me, we are able to use the RTSP address that is provided from your IP cameras and pulling out the real-time the video stream from your cameras and showing on our panels. So let's take a look on let's watch the video first, and I'll be answering more like questions on this section. All right, so let me show you a quick demonstration on how to integrate with a third party's IP camera. So for our systems, we support a third party's IP camera as long as they are RTSP supported. So we are in the IP audio center right now, and click on the audio device. Click on device. Let me hide my cameras here. Okay, and add. So we are choosing the camera option, IP cameras, and you do need to get the camera's RTSP address from the camera's systems. So I have my RTSP address right here. Just copy and paste. Okay, it's looking good. Okay, just click on submit. Activate, and then we need to get the cameras dispatched into one of the groups. Otherwise, it won't show up on the console. So let's add in room 1. So I have my IP cameras here. On submit, activate. Okay. So, all right. So it's looking good. So moving back to the console. So let's refresh it. So we can see that we have the IP cameras here. So there is a little the cameras or like a video icons right here. So if we click on these little icons, and we have the video intercom panels on the right side. So if we expand the cameras, then we can see the cameras that is installed on the hallways. So we can actually see the real-time image on the IP cameras, and if you have excuse me. So if you have multiple cameras, it will be listing out here, and you can choose to see like which cameras real-time image, and we support at most 16 cameras. However, we do not store any of the cameras memories or the storage. So for what all our system can do is to pulling out the real-time image of the cameras, but not storing the cameras memories. Okay, and let's moving back to the audio center. So one thing we can be configure is to make the IP cameras to integrate with our IAO suite, the intercom that's without the cameras. So click on our IAO suite intercoms, and there is a video terminal option here. So we can select our IP cameras, and you are able to select at most 16 IP cameras under the video terminals. So the activate push is you need to enable this option while the cameras and the system is not in the same network, not under the same IP address. So you need to enable the activate push. But since our systems and our cameras is under the same network, so we do not need to enable it. And click on submit. Activate. Okay, so for now, I have my intercom that is typed with my cameras, and let's try it out. We can do like 4 reports. Let me pull up my All right. So if that is a quick demonstration, since I have my intercom that is tied with the camera, so whenever I use the intercom, it will be pull up the real-time image that is from the connected cameras. All right, so we finished our very first video about the IP cameras. So a few questions that I received from my previous training course is you like people may confuse like how do I get my RTSP address? That is a very good question. So RTSP address from your IP camera would be totally depends on the brand of your IP cameras or the model and also the brand of your IP cameras, because different brands of IP camera, they have a different format of how they setting up the RTSP address. For example, one of the common use format on the RTSP address is RTSP :/ the login username and then colon password at the camera's IP address. So that is one of the most common ways on the IP camera's brand setting up the RTSP address. And some of the brands, they don't require you to inputting the username and password, or it can be only RTSP : / IP address. So that could be one of the options. So finding the RTSP address from your IP cameras, it can be you should be able to find it from your IP cameras user guide, like manual user guide, or the quickest way should be searching on Google, like whatever brand of IP cameras RTSP address. So you should be able to find it on Google as well. So that is one of the common questions here. And also, as I believe I mentioned it in the video, that one intercom is able to type with at most 16 cameras. So actually, in fact, you may connect as many IP cameras as you would like into one intercom, but since we only limited 16 video windows on the video panels. So only the very first 16 IP cameras would be showing on the video panels. But yeah, absolutely, that would be something that can be customized. So if you need, like if your project is requiring you more than 16 cameras, you need to show like 32 or you need to show 64 cameras on the video panels, we can absolutely do it. So the standard version of our console, it can show at most 16. That's why I said you can type at most 16 IP cameras with the intercom. That but you can actually type more than 16, but only the first 16 will be showing on the consoles. And both model of our intercom, the IA03 and the IVO3, they both support IP cameras integration. So no matter which one that you use, they can type with IP cameras. And also on the IVO3, I'm switching my cameras here. So on this little guy, the IVO3, as you can see that it has a HD cameras on the front. So this HD camera can be stand alone, work as a individual cameras. So we have the RTSP address on this HD cameras. So which means if you are using a let's say if you are using a CCTV system and your CCTV system, it needs to take the video stream from the IVO3, we can do it. We can provide you the RTSP address. out of the video stream. So everything you need to, like, for one thing you need to do is to configure the setting inside the IBO3. So, and what else? And also, besides the two models of intercom that can integrate with IP cameras, our X10, the SIP paging gateways, also can integrate with the IP cameras. So only the X10, the IAO3 and IBO3 three models can be integrated with IP cameras. So we have some distributor, they done some project using the X10 to work as a intercom. So as you may, if you have attended the training from yesterday, so this intercom can be connected with two bottoms and two passive speaker, and also integrate with the IP cameras. So for the project they done is to use a passive speaker. They make a passive speaker connection right here, and also plus one bottom, and then connect and using the X10 to connect with the IP cameras. So that would be completely the same feature as the intercom. So using the X10 to work as a intercom is a cost saving solution. Okay, and let's moving on to the, let me know if you have any question related to the IP cameras. So, and we will be moving on to the next video first. Okay, and on the next video, we will be, I'll be showing you how to use the audio correction here. Okay, so let's do a quick demonstration on the external audio correction. So first of all, we need to get into the X10 SIP paging gateway system page, and right under advanced, there is a audio correction. So we need to turn on the audio correction and putting in the server address. Username and password. And the source name would be the name that you're giving to this audio correction. So you do like audio correction. And click on submit. Okay, let me go to the dispatch console page and refresh the page. And now we can select a speaker. Click on play. So now we can see there is a additional audio source output right here saying X10, and that is the MAC address, and plus the name that we're giving to this audio source. And choose this one and click on, before we click on play, let me show you that from the camera, I have my phone is connected to the X10 SIP paging gateway using a 3.5 mm jack. Okay, and I'm using my phone for playing music at this point. So let me click on play. Also, I can switch to the next song. All right, okay. So that is a quick demonstration for the audio correction. All right, so we finished the video on the external audio correction here. So in the video, I actually used this 3.5 mm jack. So one end connect with the X10 and the another end connect with my, my cell phone. So recently, I just purchased this little guy. It is a Bluetooth adapter. So with this Bluetooth adapter with a 3.5 mm jack on the end. Can you see it? Can you guys see it right here? Okay. So I did some testing on this 3.5 mm jack Bluetooth adapter and connect with our X10, and it works very well. So using these 3.5 Bluetooth adapters, and you can plug it onto the audio in section here. And then using your phone or your laptop to connect with these Bluetooth adapters. And then you can play the music from your phone or from your desktop. Or also if you would like to connect, you can also using your like a Bluetooth earphones to connect with these Bluetooth adapters. And then you can use your phone to hear like any announcements or any alarms that is go from the systems or go from the X10. So on this audio correction, the external audio correction feature only works with the X10 only. It does not work with the X30. So as you can see, this little guy, the X10, is pretty powerful and very strong. And so on today's technical training, I am not giving any more details like how you need to connect with the Phoenix connector on the X10, but I have the full video on YouTube. If you would like to watch how to actually use this X10 to connect with like buttons and how to use this Phoenix connector to connect with a smoke detectors, or you need to connect with a emergency light, like I mean the dry contact relay. I got the full video on YouTube, so please feel free to watch it if you are interested in this gateway, the X10 gateway. So this guy is like very powerful. It works with it can work as a speaker, it can work as a intercoms, and also a gate or like another features like a switching, or like it can connect with the joint contact relays and also sensors and etc. So yeah, let's moving to the next video. On this video, I'll be showing you how to use the I/O settings. Okay, so let me show you a quick example on how our endpoint can be used if the relays in the I/O setting. So as you can see from the cameras, that I use a emergency line that is connected to my SC15, the steering speaker. And first of all, we need to turn on the setting, the I/O setting. So let's get into the SC15 system page. And right under advanced, there is a I/O setting. So we need to turn on the trigger by call selects, and we can choose like incoming or like hang up events. So let's do like incoming. And for trigger type, we have 3 options. So we have the on and fast flashing and the slow flashing. So let's do let's give them all a try. Okay, and hang up reset. So click on submit. So I will be using a IP phone to call in this speaker, and the light should be go up. Okay. All right, let me see the number on the. Hello. Okay, I'm going to hang up call. Okay, as you can see that once I hang up the call, the light will be stopped. So let's try another trigger mode. Let's do fast flashing. Submit. Let me pull up my cameras here. Hello. Okay, so that is a pretty quick example. All right, so we finished the I/O setting video here. So on the I/O setting, for both of our two models of indoor speaker, the SC15 and SW15, we actually implemented the VNX connector on the back of our indoor speaker. So as you guys may notice that we have a new accessory called the BM11, which is a microphone with a press to talk button. So it looks like a little box like this big. And using the BM11 to connect with our indoor speaker, then you are able to achieve the talkback feature from this speaker. So you can actually talk to the speaker using this BM11. And also on the back this side of our indoor speaker, you may also extend a connect with one sensor and one drive contact relay, and also the BM11. So you can connect with an emergency light or a sensor with the indoor speaker. And on the I/O setting, so the I/O setting is a more complicated setup here, and I will be pulling out the interface. I mean the system, the browser to showing you around after we finish the next video. So let's quickly move on to the next video. Okay, so on this video, we will be giving the demonstration on how to use the multicast feature. So multicast is a pretty common used feature nowadays for devices to work without a server. And as we know, that multicast is a IP routing protocol that used to distribute data, such as audio or video streaming broadcast to multiple recipients. So using the multicast, we can send a single copies of data to a single multicast address, in which then distribute to a entire groups of recipients. So on this demonstration, I will be using these Firmware's IP phones, and also I just unboxed a brand new SC15 that works series speakers for the demonstration on the SC15, and logging right here. Okay. And as you can see that all three SIP accounts saying unfigured, so none of the SIP account is registered. And let's click on events. There is a multicast option. So we need to enable the multicast first. And then filling out the multicast address. So there is a specific range for the multicast address. I believe that is from 329.224. So we can do like, let's see. So we can do like this, and keeping the multicast part to 2000. I believe that is fine. And name it pagings and click on submit. And also logging into the IP phones system on the function key. We need to set up the multicast as well. So let's do multicast, and then let's do paging. And putting out the multicast address. So you need to put out, so if there is no multicast port option here, so you need to put up the port number here. So we set it up to 2000 for the multicast port. So 2000 right here. So we 2000 and choosing the 711 audio quality. This should be fine. Let's give it a try. Click on apply. Okay. Hello. The audio quality is not good at all. So let's try the old path. Click on applied. Right. Let's give it another try. Hello. 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 The old path is way much better. So that is a quick demonstration on how to use the multicast. All right, so we finished the video on the multicast. So actually there are two different options that you can use the devices without a system. For the first one, we got the multicast, and the second option that you can use is the P2P. So P2P stands for peer-to-peer. So the difference between these two options is the multicast is able to support if the multicast is basically you have one data package and it will be copied and sending you to different destinations with this data package. In this way, it is a one-way communication. So you will be only able to using the multicast for paging, like one-way communication here only, but you are able to sending the data package to a multiple destinations. While for peer-to-peer, P2P, it is a two-way communication. So peer-to-peer, it supports one device to calling another device only. So there will be only two devices involved with the P2P, and they can communications back and forth. So there would be a both directions communications between P2P. So you can actually using a phone to call a intercom and talk to the intercom, have a communications like a both direction communications using the P2P. But if you are using the multicast, it's going to be a one-way direction on the communication there. So you'll be, if you only need to make the announcements so the speakers that you can use the multicast for making the announcement, but on the other side of the speaker, you won't be able to like get the talk back. So I think that is all the video that I recorded. So let's, isn't it? Okay. So let me show you how to use the P2P. Let me switching my Okay, here we go. Okay. So since both the P2P and the multicast, they can work, they should work without the server. So let's unregister the SIP account here. So click on unactivated the IBO3. So I got my my IBO3 here. So device information. So it should be saying none of the accounts is activated or configured. And what device is this one? Okay, so I also got the IAO3. So let me switching my cameras here. Here we go. Okay, so I actually have two intercoms. So I got my IAO3 and also my IBO3 here. So let's set up the P2P and show you guys a quick look on how to use the P2P here. Okay, so we are on the IAO3 system page. Where I go under system setting, there is a P2P account. So you need to giving the P2P, giving this device a user ID. So it can be any numbers that you create with this device. So let's do 100 anonymous call. So the allows anonymous call means since the P2P is using a IP address, if one IP address is calling another IP address. So under the IP address protocol, it may not allow the device to call another device without a user ID. So if you have turned on this option, that means the another IP address can be calling to this device without a user ID. But we suggest you to turn this off. The allows anonymous call. And also activated, click on submit. And go to the IBO3. So we on the IBO3. I believe all the accounts is configured. On the IBO3, let's also turn on the P2P feature. So let's do 101. Activate and submit. All right. Okay, and we are on the IBO3 page. So let's do the IO setting. Let's go to IO settings. And on the press to talk number, which is the IO setting on the bottoms on the IBO3. So we one thing we can try is after I can set up the IP address on the IBO3. So if I push the button on the IBO3, it should be calling to the IAO3. So let's do, I believe I give it to 100. So I need to copy this IP address and put it right here, 100 at IP address. So that is the format that you need to use with the P2P. Up. 149, here we go. 100, the username at IP address. And for that, you need to choose the the P2P account and press to talk again to end the bottom. Okay. Click on submit. So we have just set up the bottoms on the IBO3. So if I click the button on the IBO3, it should be calling to the IAO3. So let's give it a try. Hello. Oh, all right. So two devices shouldn't like get this close, but it works. So that is a quick demonstration on the P2P. So let's see what else. So besides the P2P, let's quickly go over all the settings on our systems and also the device systems. So, okay, right here let's see, go to, okay, right here we are under the IP audio center. So let's look at the dashboard. So dashboard is the front interface page of our systems. And under register status, you should be able to see all the registered devices, the status, like status OK, and also the IP address, the type right here. And under audio devices, SIP accounts is the place that where we create the SIP accounts and distributing these SIP accounts to different devices. For devices, so if you are registering a IP cameras or a third-party SIP endpoint onto our systems, you need to manually add the device right here. So simply click on the add button and select the device type. So if it is a IP cameras, you need to choose the M cameras option, or if it's a SIP microphone, that you can choose the microphone option here. And giving the names and selecting the SIP numbers. One thing you may realize that the cameras does not require you to get a SIP number, because a IP camera does not belong as a SIP device, so it won't cost you the SIP endpoint licenses here. So you can register as many IP cameras as you need onto these systems. It won't cost you the it won't like minus the endpoint license from your systems. But if you are registering a SIP phone, like a IP phone, a SIP phone, so it will be take on one SIP account license here. And the next thing is groups. So groups, we support unlimited number of groups. So you can like putting all your speakers on the first floor into one group and all your speakers on the second floor into another group. So unlimited number of groups. So you need to remember this point. For telephony, so as you guys, if you guys are familiar with Seco, we have embedded in PBX for more than 10 years. So that is also why we integrate the telephony features into these paging systems. So which also means if you get these paging systems, you can actually get two sets of systems. One is the telephony features, telephony systems, and another one is the paging systems. So under the telephony, there are trunks. So you can edit your SIP trunks using a SIP trunk to connect with, like a SIP trunk from your IPPBX to connect with the these paging systems, and your SIP phone is able to dial the numbers or making the inbound and outbound call using the SIP trunks here. I haven't seen any of the similar product that's on the market. They support the telephony features. I believe we are the first one that is integrating the telephony features with the paging systems, that you can use your SIP phones to making announcements or like triggering the dial task. And also for the outbound through. So outbound through would be the similar setup that you've done on the PBX. So setting up the route for making outbound call. And also we have the inbound through, if you guys familiar with the PBX. So you should be able to know like what the ID or go-to destination is. And for IVR, so since the Checkhost IPCPS, we support unlimited number of, the unlimited levels of IVR. Also on our paging systems, we also support unlimited levels of IVR. So you can create 10, 20, or even like 100 level of IVR if you wish. So that is the IVR. So for reports, so if you click on the call logs, you are able to check in all the logs here from a specific time period or specific date. And for recording, so recording, it has the, we support for type of recording. We have the phone call, live announcements, intercom, and also the meeting. So all the recording from our system, they are automatically recorded. If you would like to turn off the automatic recording, you need to go to the setting. There is a recording setting option here, section here. And then you can turn on or off the automatic recording features. So if you don't want to record any of the intercoms call, so you need to turn off right here and click on submit. It will be turning off the intercoms recording feature. And for system setting, so we already preset the paging volume and also the alarms volume. So that is the default volume, and you also can like addressing the default volume here. But if you set it to 7, so whenever you have a paging volume, it will be automatically go with the level, the volume level on 7. And the paging bits is you can have a audio, like a sound audio played before the paging begins, such as you can have a audio like dang 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 dang, right? You have the beat before the paging begins, and you can also selecting the audio files right here, so it can be you can upload the audio files from this audio libraries here, uploading any audio files you would like to use, and then you can select it through system setting. If you turn this on and selecting the audio file here. And also we have the range directions and zip NATs. That the zip NAT is the newest feature we just implemented with our newest version of 1.07. So if you do need to register any device remotely, you probably need to enable the zip NAT right here and putting the public address that we are able to find the device that's behind the NAT. And also we have the feature code. So the feature code, there are 2 options that you are not allowed to change. The first one is *11. So *11 is the feature code that you use to trigger the dial number task. And *12 is the feature code that you need to use for stop the dial number task. For example, I presetted a dial number task 100, and the task is going to play a after school announcement. That way I can use my desktop phone, putting in *11 100, like 100, to trigger the task. And after the task is triggered, it will be played the after school announcements. And then I can use the *12 plus 100 to stop the dial number task. So that is how you work with the dial number task. So the *11 and *12 is the number that you are not allowed to change. But for another feature codes like wake up call, always forwarded those telephony feature code that you can actually change it. Like I don't want it to be *99, it can be like *88, right? And then click on the submit button to apply the changes. So *11 and *12 is the *11 for triggering the dial number task, and the *12 is stopping the dial number task. And here is the audio library where you upload your audio files here. And also this page user, we went through this page for creating the dispatch user. So on this the dispatch user, we also support unlimited number of dispatch user and labels. So would be if you are adding any labels, that you can actually tag the labels with the device, such as you have multiple locations. You have your restaurant A and your restaurant B. You can actually like tagging the labels on different devices while you are creating the new device or registering the new device. And we also went through the licenses interface pages here. So let's take a look on the device system page. So we have numbers of different devices, but pretty much all the system devices in system page, they look similar. So we have on the device information. So I'm taking the IVO3 as example here. So on the system page, we have like the status, we have the device information here. And right under SIP setting, besides the X30, all of our devices, they support multi-SIP accounts. So you can actually register the systems into up to 3 different systems. And then we went through the P2Ps, and here is the audio codecs that you can choose using a 711, G711, or G722. And also we support OPAS. And also the advanced SIP setting, it contains the information about like local part and SIP star part, etc. So we would suggest you to leave this section as default unless you will need to change it to match the part that you use. Also for video, so this video section only applies to the IVO3. As I mentioned earlier, that the HD cameras on the IVO3 can be standalone to work alone as a individual cameras. So here is the places that you can get the RTSP address out of the IVO3's HD cameras. So under the IVO3 user guide, in the user guide, I believe we have put out the RTSP format address. So you should be able to find the RTSP address from the user guide. Let's moving on to the events. So events would be, we have volumes, we have the IO setting. So the IO setting is more complicated setup here. So on the press to talk means the bottom. So and the press to talk number is the destination number that I would like. It is pretty much the it also means the reaction on after I push the bottom. So if I want to set up the bottom after I push it on the IVO3, it calls my master phone, and my master phone is 1001. That I'm going to set up the press to talk number 1001. So 1001 is my master phone, and I will using a auto or my master SIP account lines right here. And press to top means the reactions after you push the button. So after you push the button, it will be calling through a preset destination number or using the P2P to call a specific IP address. And also, you can also using the bottom to trigger the task. So let's say, as I mentioned earlier, that *11 is the feature code that you trigger the task. So let's assuming that I have a task called 100. So in this case, I can trigger the task by setting up *11 plus the task number to trigger the task. So if I push the button on the intercom, it will trigger the task. The task can be an emergency alarm or a announcement or even like play a background music. So it will be depends on how you're going to set up the task. So also you can like stop the task by doing *12. So that is one of the options. So sensor setting. So if you have attended the training from yesterday, that you should know, we inside of our intercoms, we have actually left a Finex connector inside the intercom that you can connect with one sensor and one dry contact relay. So that is the option that you can do with the sensor. So let's assuming that you connect a smoke detector with the intercom. And then if your smoke detector is activated, the reaction after the smoke detector is activated would be, I can be dial a specific number to my master phone, like 1001, right? So if this smoke detector that is connected with my intercom is activated, it will be automatically calling to my master phone that I would know, okay, what happens, like, okay, there might be like a fires or a happened. So that is for the sensor setting. So after the sensor setting, we have the triggered setting. So the triggered setting would be something like the type or the format that you would like to set up the trigger. So it can be triggered by call status. So in the video, I believe I show if I using my cell phone to call the device, if we trigger the task, trigger the dry contact relay, the emergency light to be go on. So that is one of the option, or you can also use the DTMF. So that would be the keyboard panels on your cell phones, or you have a individual DTMF keyboard. So if you press the once, it will be trigger the reactions. And also that is the relay control. So I also saw on the video that you can control the trigger type on like on or fast flashing or slow flashing. And moving on, we have multicast. So we went through the multicast, and for language, for at the present moment, we only support Chinese and English only. But if you would like these systems in your own language, so you may contact us for the for work on the translation. We are welcome to adding more language into these systems. And next thing is, let's moving on to the system. So we have the network. So this device is defaultly, so after you turn on the device, is defaultly using the DHCP to get the IP address. If the device is not able to get the DHCP IP address, it will be defaultly to use a static IP address under 100. So would be 192.168.1.100. So that is the default address if the device is not able to reach and get the DHCP IP address. So for time, so time would be like setting up your time zone and account, changing the password. And here is the upgrade. So if you do need to upgrade the device, you may upload the firmware here and upgrade the device. Also, we have the reboot and the reset option. And right here we have the pin. So pin is a pin. So it's going to pin the IP address and see if the network is working. And also for Ethernet capture. So if you need to analyze a data package or you need to check on your device, you may capture the data package from here using the Ethernet captures and analyze the data package right here. So that is a brief overview on the device system page. And one thing I would like to show you around is our management systems. So as you can see, this is the login interface of our management system under the part of 1990. So 1990 is the number that you should be memorized. So the management system only applies to if you are using our ISO file to install the system on a virtual machine or a hardware server. So it only applies to if you using our ISO file to deploy the systems. If you are using the Docker on the cloud server, so you won't be able to see this page. So only the ISO file. And the login credential, let me show you where you can find the login credential here. So on our installation guide, the installation guide right here, right under this page, and you can see the credential, the login credential. Username is root, and the password is actually the IP audio center at jacker.com. Yeah, that is the password. So the default login username is root, and the password is IP audio center at jacker.com. Okay, I believe I copy a comma. So let's go back here. All right, so after you log into the management system, you should be able to see this page. So commonly you would use the management system if you need to change your, let's say you need to change your time zones or you need to change your IP address. So those are the two common reasons why you need to access the management systems. So time zone is extremely important for these systems because like basically everything will be depends on the time, such as your recording will be depending on the time, and also your tasks like your dial number tasks, and I mean your timetable tasks. You set it like every Monday to Friday at 7 p.m. and that is basically depending on your time zones. So you need to make sure your time zone is set it in the correct format and also the correct time. So on the system page, there is a system time right here, and you can selecting the time zones and set time, like you can choose like using your system time zones or manually adding the system time to do. So you may need to change your time zones using the management systems. And the second common way is you need to change your network, your IP address. So you can also changing your network address, not your your IP address right here. And for accounts, we have the accounts right here. So root as a default login user. And for servers, so servers would be like logs that you can actually check on the service that is done by the systems. And also for broadcast. So if you and also if you are using the ISO file to install the systems, we provide the automatic backup feature for you. So it will be automatic. So if you have turned on the automatic backup feature right here, it will be automatically backup the systems for 5 days, for the last 5 days. So if on the 6th day, it will be overwriting the files on the first day. So it will be only keeping the backup files for the last 5 days. And also on the backup data, the configuration file is required, and also there are options for you to whether or not to back up the music files or and also the recording files, because the music file and the recording file can be very large. So you may be like uploading 20 gigabytes or 30 gigabytes of music files into the systems, and it is painful to back up the whole system with like 50 gigabyte of music files. So we leave the music file and also the recording file as optional for you to whether or not to make it auto backup or not. But the configuration is required for the auto backup. And also we have the logs, so you may download all the logs to analyze the logs right here. And also we have Multicast and hot standby. So the hot standby is also the new feature we implemented with the latest version, and we just like released the latest version like last week. Yeah, last week. So if you are using the hot standby, so what hot standby is basically you are running the system on two separate servers. So one as the primary server and another one as a backup or secondary server. So the system is running on these two servers simultaneously, which means if the primary server crash or it goes down, it will be automatically switching to the backup server. So on this case, if you are using the hot standby feature, it will be requiring you to have two sets of licenses. So one set of device licenses for the primary server, and the second set of license for the backup server. So if you're using this feature, it is requiring you to have two set of licenses. Okay, and what else? Terminal. So terminal, it is a terminal. So you can access the whole system through the terminals here. So commonly used would be, I use the terminals a lot to get into the blacklist. So for our systems, we have implemented the security strategy here. So let's say if you have using a wrong username and password and trying to make the registration on a device, and it failed. It failed like 10 attempts within 5 minutes. Our system will be automatically putting the device IP address into the blacklist. And if you would like the device to get out of the blacklist, you need to get into this terminal and get into the blacklist and release your device out of the blacklist. And also we have some documentations under like how you can get your device out of the blacklist. So and we will be like posting the documentations on our website later on if you guys would like to look at the documentations. Like commonly used is you need to get your device out of the blacklist, and also checking the device's status in a more detailed way. Then you can using the terminals to do it. So that is a brief overview on our management systems. So right now it is 45. Let's take a look on the panel. Okay, my IVO3 is offline because I turned off the account here. Click on submit. Okay. All right. So on the tasks, the dial number task is this little guy. The dial number task that I mentioned it for a few times. So you can giving the task name or the task number. It should be the dial numbers here. And for this dial number, it should be like the password on this task. So you should be keeping it inside. And next would be that's the name and that's the task number, like 1001, and selecting the task, the audio options, like you would like to play music, or we also support TTS, the text to speech, and also like you can also record a message, hello, message, hello. All right, and play and pause the recorded message, and also OA alarms that you can choose the alarms for your task. So all right, so let me check in my list here, make sure that we covered all the points. Okay, so I believe I covered all the features, like the major features here. And you guys need to like get your feedback and trying to use these systems, because the whole system is pretty large, and I won't be able to like cover all the features and showing you like all like what it can do within these 2 hours. But please feel free to let me know if you have any technical questions, and I hope that I can like answer your concerns or answer your question here. So, and we have 10 minutes left, so let's quickly go over the exam. I mean, like not exactly the exam, but the points I would like you to know based on the exams. Okay, so let's right here. Okay, let's quickly go over all the products. And I will be emphasizing the points that you should know about the IP audio solutions. So for network speaker, we have 4 different types of network speaker. we have two type of indoor speaker and also two type of outdoor speaker. So the SC15, SW15, and also the SH30, they are PoE supported. So when I say PoE, I mean PoE plus. So only three type of speaker, they are PoE supported. The SL50, since it requiring a higher watt on the power supply, so it does not PoE plus supported, because the PoE plus only support up to like the AT, PoE AT only support up to 30.8, I believe. So the PoE AT is not enough to support the column speaker. So if you are using the column speaker, you need to connect with a external power supply. And we also provide you the power supply along with the column speaker. So not all of the speaker, they are PoE supported. Only three models of the speaker is power the PoE supported. So this SC15, C stands for ceiling. So the SC15, 15 stands for 15 watts. So the SC15 is a indoor speaker, and you can also extend in the back side of the indoor speaker, you can extend a bottom, a dry contact relay, and also a sensor out of the indoor speaker. And the SW15 is similar design as the SC15. Also, you can extend a bottom, a sensor, and also a dry contact relay out of the SW15. SH30 is a outdoor horn speaker. It has the IP65 enclosures. That means it is waterproof and dustproof, that you can use it in a outdoor environment. Column speaker SL50. So this guy is also a outdoor speaker. It also has the IP65 enclosure, so you can use it for a outdoor purpose. And this column speaker does not PoE supported. And BM11, it is the new accessory that we just released a couple weeks ago. So this BM11 only works with our SC15, SW15, the two models of our indoor speaker, and also our X10, the SIP paging gateway. So it will be three models only. It can work with only the SC15, SW15, and the X10. Intercoms, so we have two different intercoms, IVO3 and the IAO3. V stand for video and A stand for audio. So both of the IAO3 and the IVO3, we left the Finex connector inside the intercom that you can extend a sensor or extend a dry contact relay out of the intercoms. And both of the intercom, they support third parties IP cameras, but the IP camera has to be RTSP supported. And on the dispatch console's video panels, it can pull out at most 16 video windows. So it will be only showing at most 16 videos image. On our gateways, we also have two different models. We got our X10 and X30. So each X10 or X30, they can support two passive speakers at most 10 watts each, and two bottom with light, one sensor, and one dry contact relay. So that is the number that you need to remember is they are able to connect with two passive speakers, two bottoms, one sensor, and one dry contact relay. And also for the external music corrections, only the X10 supported. The X30 does not support the external music correction feature here. And also on the X10, on the audio section, it is using the 3.5 mm jack. So it is 3.5 mm jack, if not USB or not not 2.5 mm jack, and also not HDMI. So it is a 3.5 mm jack for using the audio on the X10. Zip phones. I don't think I created any question related to the phone. Oh yes. So on the master phone, on the dispatch user, so one. Oops. Okay. All right, here we go. So one master phone can be only used by one dispatch user, but one dispatch user can have more than one master phone. And software, we have 3 different softwares. We got the systems, we got the consoles, and also we got our apps. So for the center, it is the system that you can deploy on a hardware server, cloud-based server, and also virtual machine. And from the center, we support unlimited number of paging groups. We support unlimited number of dispatch user, and also unlimited number of tasks that you set up from the console. The tasks is also unlimited number. And from the telephony IVR, we support unlimited number, unlimited levels of IVR. And from the consoles, we let's see, music meeting tasks. So we have different type of tasks. We have our immediate, we have the timetable, which is the repetitive task, and also we have the dial number task. So we have a total number of 3 tasks here. And for telephony features, if we support those common use telephony features such as whisper, monitor, split, bucket, intercom, and call. So basically, the common use telephony features we also support in these paging systems. And on the device, there is a icon on the left corner, and each color representing a different status on the device. If it's showing in green, that means the device is available, it's not doing anything, that you can use the device. If the icon is in the red color, that means the device is busy. It probably doing the pagings or like playing music, etc. So it working on some operation or some tasks. If the icon is in yellow, that means the device is in error. It could be like not enough power supply to the device to power up the device. And if the icon is in gray color, that means the icon, the device is offline. And also on our dispatch app, we support iPhone and Android systems. So you can check all the device status from the dispatch app. Okay. It's Andy. Okay. All right. So, 58. Let's see if I have anything to emphasize here. And a little bit about the exam. So if you guys would like to receive a certification, we also provided you a exam with 100 points in total. It contains 35 multiple choice and one short answer. And the passing line is 80. So you need to get anywhere above 80 for considered as passing the test. After you pass the test, you will be receiving a electronic certification from us. And also we will be printing out your certifications, like your official certifications. And if you have your next order coming out or shipping out, your certification will be go with your next order. Let me stop my screen sharing here and see if we have any questions. Hello? Okay. Do we have any
y no concuerdan nada con las fechas que están acá en la base. Estamos revisando las conversaciones y hay una conversación tuya con el cliente donde él te pide unas fechas.
Hello everyone, many thanks for your attention about our training. If you have any questions, yes. Hello, sir.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear
Yes.
me?
Yes.
Hello?
Hello?
Emily, can I go ahead to ask?
Yes, I can hear you. Please.
Do you have any view? Do you have any... Okay. Okay. Do you have any recorded video?
Sorry, the internet connection is not out.
Do you have any recorded videos or that you can look at? Hello? Recorded material that you can look at.
I'm sorry, can you the internet connection is not like very well on your side or perhaps on my side. Can you actually like type out the questions in the chat box that I can probably like get a more clear understanding?
Okay. Okay, I'll do that.
Thank you. how the audio system works. I want to know if the course was being recorded to review some point of the. Yes. So for the recording, the whole recording from for both the yesterday's sales training and also for today's technical training, the recording will be posted on YouTube by tomorrow, and also we will be sharing the YouTube link through LinkedIn or Facebook. In case that you don't use either the Facebook or LinkedIn, you may also contact your drop me a email or contact if you have a direct sales manager. You may contact your sales manager to get the YouTube link for reviewing the recording if you would like to watch the recording. And also, if you would like to receive the presentation slides, I can also sharing you the presentation slides. So please drop me your email address so I can send you the presentation slides through emails, or you can contact your sales manager for getting the presentation slides. They all have the presentation slides. And how on the questions of how the audio system works. So I'm not sure, like so I'm not sure, like, what do you mean by like the audio system works? Like which, like, can you explain it in a more detailed way? In case of server damage, the same license can be used without problems. I believe so. For Gabriel, for your questions, in case of server damage, that you like recovering using the same license. I believe that is the question that you should. So it has, if you would like to use the same license, we need to manually setting in the database for you to use the same license again, and that is something that you should be contacting your the sales manager for it, because like once you use the license, it cannot be like reactivate the license that you can use on a second server. But there would be absolutely something is negotiable with your sales manager. We have the case that we have a case before in Australia. One of our resellers office burnt out, so the server is damaged. So we are with the enough of proof, we feel able to like manually reactivating the license for him. But that would be something that you need to talk with your sales manager about.
Hello, any other question?
Okay, any other question here besides recording the presentation site? So if you would like to receiving the presentation site, just drop me your email address, and I will be sending out all the presentation sites by tomorrow morning, because it's kind of quite late here. So I would like to do it for tomorrow. And also I will be uploading the recording to YouTube by tomorrow's morning as well.